Hello everyone, Jilles Groskamp here from Team Infinity, and today in this video I want to talk about the Infinity IF14 Speciale, and in this video I want to show you how I built the shocks for the IF14 Speciale. If you build the kit, back F, and in back F you find all the parts for the shocks. I see shock body, bladder, piston, springs, everything. However, here I have a few option parts for the shocks already, and in previous video I already talked about the new shock piston 1.1 4-hole, and this 1.1 4-hole is mostly used, and in the kit is 1.2. 1.2 hole shock piston 4-hole is more easy to drive. It's a little bit better on the bumps, but most of the tracks is good traction, is a flat surface as well as carpet. We mainly use the 1.1 hole piston. So in this video I want to build them with the 1.1. And now another one, and I think this is the most important. The standard shock comes with the black O-ring, and in the last few months when we drove we found that the black O-ring is not always as smooth as you want. So we found an option O-ring, and it's not really an option because we already had this, and this is the R0135B. And this shock O-ring, it's also called the X-ring, is the transparent color, and this O-ring is mainly used in the gas car, in the nitro car, the IF18 and also the IF15 And of course I am a big fan of the 110 GP car. I found out that this O-ring actually works a little bit smoother in our shock for the IF14 Speciale. So I really recommend you to try this O-ring, and I think the overall performance is better because the shock shaft works more freely, and just in general the car feels more nice on track with this O-ring. Furthermore, you see a kind of a wide range of oil I bring. We will build the shock today with 450, just to keep it simple. That's a standard shock oil what we normally use. This is more the range. 400 is a softer one, 500 is a little bit thicker one. If you want to have a more stable car, the 500 oil is working really well. If you want a bit more feeling in the car, a bit more aggressive, you can use 400, even a little bit softer front and a little bit harder rear. And of course we have a wide range of springs, the SMJ spring. And I will now check what is in the kit, because I'm not sure which spring is in the kit. So I will now open this bag and I will build the shocks for you. So come and have a look. So alright, here we go. This is bag F, the shock for the IF14 Speciale. The bladder is a soft type already, so we're gonna use this one. It's absolutely perfect. As you can see, the black O-ring, we're gonna replace them for the R0135B. Normally they come at 8, but I already took 4. These are the other 4. And as you can see, they're the transparent color, and yeah, they work very nice. In the kit, also the shock shaft, the springs or the clips, the ball end, and these are the 1.2 millimeter piston, and I will replace them by the 1.1 4-hole piston. Yeah, also a question for me. In the kit there are SMJ springs, and these are 2528. That is mostly used, and these are the front, and the rear is probably 2.7. Yes, 2.7. Those are very common use springs. Now we use also 2.8 sometime in the rear, and even a more linear spring in the front, like 2.7 in the front, to make the front steer more smooth. But again, the 2.5-2.8 front and 2.7 is a very good basic setup for the springs, so we will use that. These are the plastics for the car, for the shocks, and one of the things that we have to do is when you break them down, you cut a little bit more with a knife, make it smooth, make it nice and round. And these are the ball end, and the ball end you normally take a small screw M3x5 and you pre-tap the hole and make sure that the screw goes in straight, so later on when you screw it on the shock shaft, it goes on very easily and also straight. So you use the screw to pre-tap the thread in the plastic, so like that. These are the shock body and the rest of the aluminium parts. They all look very nice, very neat. So let's build. So here are all the parts for one shock. First we're gonna prepare the shock shaft and put the clip. You have some tools for this. I normally just take the plier and you easily can put the E-clip. So now take the piston on the side where the E-clips falls in, and this is sometimes quite tight. Make sure you really get the E-clip already in the sleeve, and take a small plier and click the E-clip on. Check if it's no play, and so that's the piston. Now I will prepare the shock body and the piston. I take a little bit of shock oil. What I said, 450 is the default. I put a little bit of shock oil in the body. I take the O-ring, and you take the plastic and the aluminium cap. Don't over tight, just tight. Take the piston and check if it goes free. And what I say with this O-ring, it goes extremely smooth and they not leak. Now I take the spring retainer, the spring, and I take the O-ring, put a little bit oil, make sure there's a little bit of oil, and you screw it on the shock body like this. So that's done. This one is very smooth. So now you still have a little bit of oil on your finger, and it's good because you can a little bit put the oil on the ball. Yeah, now the ball end, the plastic ball end. What I said before, it's already pre-tap, and the best way to use pliers that don't scratch the shock shaft. So now I have the pliers that with the special head, so you won't scratch the shock shaft. Now I put the plastic ball end on, and make sure you do that straight, because sometimes it kind of want to walk away. And recheck if the ball end is straight on the shaft. Now in this case everything is fine, and make sure that the distance of the shock and the ball end is 8.5 millimeter, and now it's 8.7. So, and make sure of course that on all 4 of the shocks that distance is always the same. So it's 8.48, 8.46. I open a little bit. So now it's 8.5, the distance. And yeah, basically now we can fill up the shock. Now I fill up the shock with 450, and yeah, it's difficult to say till how far, but you pretty much almost put it full, and you move the shock up and down, and you can see already air coming up. So you can do 2 things. You can leave the shock for a few minutes and continue to move the shock shaft up and down, or you can use this device. It's a long-time friends from Wright make this, and you can use the shock pump, and it's kind of vacuum the shock, so you will speed up the process of having all the air out of the shock. And you can see now there's still a lot of air bubbles because the shock is brand new, so there's still a little bit air. So now I move it a few more times. You can do this again. And you wait a little bit to have all the air coming out. In the meantime, what you can do is you can pop in the ball into the plastic. I usually use a normal plier and make sure, and typical with this ball, you need to make sure that when you click it in, you kind of have to move it one time, and now the ball is moving free. And yeah, of course always make sure that this is the case, but yeah. So there's the ball in. Yeah, now when the shock is ready, so there's no more air, no more bubbles, and it seems to be the case. I normally push the shock shaft all the way to the top, so there's no space here, and I take the bladder. We'll remove this one. I take the bladder and I slowly let the shock bleed, and by doing this you make sure that you build the shock with a 0 rebound, and this is most cases the best on track. You get the most traction from the shock if you have no rebound in the shock. So again, you let it bleed, shock shaft is completely up, the bladder is sitting nicely inside the shock body, and you remove all the oil on the side, and you kind of slowly press this so there's absolutely no air or rebound in the shock. Now I take the top part, push it again a little bit. You take the aluminium screw and you gently, slowly, you screw it, you close it, and you make sure that the shock shaft stays there, and slowly you close the shock. And now you can see the shock has minimum rebound, but that's absolutely no problem. What you can do, and some guys will do that to make absolutely 0 rebound, you can open the other side a little bit and make sure that you kind of open it and you close it again. and now there's absolutely no rebound. A millimeter. Really make sure everything is tied up. You clean the shock. You can also take off a little bit of the plastic, make it nice and neat. Yeah, now the ball end on the other side. I will push it in, click, and a little bit move it, and you will feel it goes free. Now take the spring, the SMJ springs, they work really nice. And this is the shock. So this is how it's done. So that was my video about building the shocks from the IF14 Speciale. I think the main thing was the use of the X-ring, the R0135B, the transparent O-ring, which makes the shock shaft move a lot more smooth. Further, I think it's quite straightforward how to build the shocks. On track, play a bit with shock oil, play a bit with springs, and I'm sure you will get your IF14 Speciale up to speed. Thank you again for watching my video. I hope this was helpful for you, and see you next time.